This is Sell Yourself Fearlessly, episode number 9, The Relationship Myth in Sales. Welcome again to Sell Yourself Fearlessly, a show for entrepreneurs who love what they do, but hate selling themselves. We're going to help you remove fear and uneasiness when selling your own product or service so that you can uncover more opportunities, spend more time on the things that you enjoy, and ultimately earn the money you deserve. My name is Scott Whitney, and this is a production of both Podworks and the Scott Whitney Academy. We're broadcasting live from one of our studios in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. By the way, if you want to watch us live, you can check out the Scott Whitney Academy Facebook page. And then also a video and audio version of this episode will be made available on demand at all your favorite podcast and video distribution platforms. We're also on the social media as well. All right, let's go ahead and get started. The relationship myth when it comes to sales. There's an old axiom that I've been hearing for years and years and years, even when I first got started with sales. It goes like this. Young man, the key to sales is relationships. When I was first reading books from Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy, they were constantly harping on this. You've got to have a strong personal relationship with your prospects so they like you, because people buy from people they like. And listen, on the surface, that's true. I'm not going to buy from you if I don't like you. But many equate this idea of relationships to personal relationships. I want to be your friend. I want to be your buddy. I want to be your pal, your amigo. And so they behave in that manner. A perfect example of this, by the way, is happening right now in Las Vegas. There is a big trade show happening. It's called the Global Gaming Expo, G2E. It's gaming manufacturers, so people who make slot machines and table games from around the world are here in Vegas right now selling their wares. And I promise you that right now there is millions of dollars being spent on restaurants and shows and bars and strip clubs, all under the heading of relationship building. And look, it's fun. I've been on the receiving end of those kinds of dinners and drinks. Never a strip club. But I'm going to tell you, that's actually not what gets the job done. In the 20 plus years I've run my own business, I have never wined and dined a prospect. And it's because I know I cannot claim nor manufacture my relationship with somebody. If I could do that, well, hell, I would just do it. I'd stick out my hand with somebody who I want to sell and say, hey, I'm Scott Whitney. How about you and I have a relationship so I can sell you stuff? Right? It doesn't work. Why? Well, 2 reasons. 1, it's creepy. And 2 is I haven't earned the right to have that relationship with somebody. So we have to concern ourselves with this. If the key to sales is relationships, what is the key to relationships? And the answer is credibility. So you cannot sell a non-commodity product without credibility. I'll buy a newspaper from anybody. But if you want to sell me your high-ticket product or service, you yourself have to be credible. This explains, by the way, the Pareto principle when it comes to companies with a number of salespeople. Why is it that you think that 20% of salespeople usually account for 80% of the sales in bigger companies? Pareto, 20 or 80-20. Why 20% of salespeople doing 80% of the sales? It's because those 20% have figured out how to establish their personal credibility. It has nothing to do with their expense account. If it did, we could all buy our way into relationships, right? That other 80% would just say, oh, well, hell, I'll just keep buying people dinner, to keep taking people out for drinks, and I'll have a relationship. It's not it. It's the credibility part, right? Now, we've talked about this previously. In other episodes in this just brand new podcast, we've talked about the idea of credibility and how to establish it. We've talked about that you can't claim your own credibility. That's what drunk people do. So I would first invite you to check out those previous episodes, but we're going to focus a lot of our attention on establishing credibility moving forward as well. The bottom line for this episode is simply this. The building of a relationship between you and your customers and your prospects is less about your expense account and more about what are you doing to account for the building of your credibility in the eyes of your customers and your prospects. All right, that's it. If you have a question, a comment, a suggestion, please send the email to podcast@scottwhitneyacademy.com. Again, podcast@scottwhitneyacademy.com. Now, let me ask you a favor. If you like what we're doing, I'm going to invite you to share this with your friends and your family, colleagues, people who you think would benefit from the information that we're sharing here. And then also, I'm going to ask you to give us a positive review on the social media or podcast or video platform of your choice. All right, that's it. Thanks for checking this out. Now get out there and sell yourself fearlessly.